Welcome everybody, this is Edgardo Balentine.
And this is Scott DiGregorio, and welcome to the Real Estate of Tomorrow podcast, where we're going to discuss the rapidly changing landscape of the real estate industry.
And the steps that you need to take today in order to survive tomorrow.
Look, I'm going to give you the perspective of a 25-year veteran, somebody who has been there and done that.
With Jesus life for all fart, okay?
Screw you, man.
Look, I'm going to give you a fresh perspective from somebody that's applying those steps today.
So that basically means you're young and you don't know shit.
All right, let's get this started. Hey everybody, welcome to the Real Estate of Tomorrow podcast. This is Edgardo Balentine and I'm here with my co-host
Scott DiGregorio. Man, what's going on?
Dude, this is a hot topic right now.
Dude, and sexy.
And sexy, yeah. We're talking about how the robots are gonna come and conquer everything.
Let's go Terminator. No, but seriously, I mean, CHAT GPT has taken the world by storm.
Yeah.
And you know, we want to open up a discussion on it. We want to start off by saying anybody who says they're an expert in CHAT GPT is full of shit. This is too new to be an expert. And you know, I'll admit that I have not gone as deep with it as you have, Edgardo. So, but let's break down CHAT GPT, because this is going to. I'm of the opinion that this will change society over time to the level that the internet changed society over time. Like, I don't think I'm overstating that.
Yeah, and I think what's important when we have a conversation about this is what you said. The experts or the people that I have spoken with that are the most excited and can speak more intelligently about this are coders. And I don't know if you've ever talked to a coder, but they speak in coding. You don't understand what the hell they're saying.
Different language, yeah.
They're excited about shit that I can't pronounce, and it's just weird.
There's a lot you can't
Yeah,
pronounce.
well, this is true. So my point with this is, rather than saying, hey guys, this is the ins and outs of ChatGPT, I really want to talk about how we are implementing it in our business. And I think this needs to be a recurrent topic, not only for us, but for agents out there. Because look, very much like Gary Vee said, documenting how this is helping us in our business, it's what's going to be more important, way more so than positioning yourself as an expert on something that, unless you're a coder, you have no fucking idea what you're doing.
Facts.
So, anyways, with this, if you don't know what ChatGPT is, you got to Google it. Because, like Scott said, look, he's not exaggerating when he says that this might be bigger or just as big as the internet. So it's something that you can't just brush off. Because even if it's not ChatGPT, a version of whatever ChatGPT is coming and is going to stay.
Yeah, and look, if somebody just woke up from a year-long nap and your listeners is thinking, what the hell is ChatGPT? This is the first verbal-based open artificial intelligence technology that has been released to the public. And the intelligence of it is, I mean, it's beyond words. It's really, really crazy.
Yeah, and what's cool about it is very interactive, right? We're used to Google, where you type something in Google and then you get the high, whatever the top searches are and whatever the top results are. With ChatGPT, you can give it like a person, you can give it a persona, you can give it a tone, you can give it all this. So let me just jump in on this. When you go into your ChatGPT, when you Google and you go into whether it's the playground or the free account or the actual ChatGPT account, because there's two. There's like a lighter version where you can click on playground and start talking to it, and then there's the actual quote unquote real ChatGPT where you can have like conversations that you can save and all that good stuff. By the way, they now came up because the site kept crashing. They now came up with a paid account, which, by the way, I'll share my credentials with you, Scott. Where you're guaranteed that it's not going to crash. So you're guaranteed that you have access to it.
Yeah, this thing's worth billions.
Yeah,
this thing's worth billions.
Yeah. So what you can do to it is you can basically talk to it. You can ask it to do any type of task when it comes to, summarize an article or write a description or ask it questions on how to create a formula in Excel and things like that. But this is where I think in playing with it, I have discovered to make it to be the most useful for me. When I started using it, it was very much like, please summarize this. And it did a good job. Or it was very much saying like, I want to write an eloquent email saying this. Because to me, I'm going to be completely, vulnerable. Writing, it doesn't come as easy for me to type things properly.
The whole third language.
Yeah, the whole third. Yeah. So I use Grammarly a lot. But being able to now tell ChatGPT what I want to say in the email, and for ChatGPT to do it,
and I think it's worth mentioning. I think it's important to mention that ChatGPT is not taking existing information from the internet and just regurgitating it. It is analyzing the internet, coming up with its own opinion. That's a weird word to use with the computer, but its own opinion of the answer, and then coming up with its own unique answer.
So that's where I think the next level of use for this is, because you can leave it as open as you want to leave it with the algorithm, with the AI, where yes, you can let it formulate their own opinion, but where it goes, where this becomes very interesting, and this is what I've been doing a lot, is when you give it a frame of what type of person is actually typing the email. And this is where this thing has been very useful for me. Because if I tell ChatGPT, you are a very well-respected marketer, and you're a social media influencer, and you're writing a post on this, and this, in order to get buyers to click on this and view and DM you, it's gonna write a completely separate post than when I say, I am a professional speaker, or you are a professional speaker, or you're a professional speaker, a certified speaker, sending an email to a board, an association of whatever, and you're talking to lawyers in a professional tone, and this is what you're writing. Because then the tone of the answer changes completely. So you can assign accolades to ChatGPT. You can say,
and this is all just in the way you type in the question.
In the way you type in the question. So you can type the question saying, you are an aggressive negotiator, and this is as low as your price is gonna be on this, and then pose the question, and it's gonna give you a different vibe, a different verbiage than if you say you are an influencer or you are psychological mastermind. So you can assign different personas to it, and it will give you the tone that you're actually looking for. And that to me was mind-blowing.
Dude,
that was a game
wild.
changer to me. Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah, so that was a complete game changer, because think about it. In our businesses, I don't care what you do. I mean, real estate, mortgages, any type of sales. If you're doing this correctly right now, you have to adapt to the place where you're having the conversations with. Sending an email for us, for example. I have an upcoming I have a speaking engagement with the association of the Bar Association. Mm-hmm. The way I typed that email was very, very different than the way I type the captions on my posts on an Instagram short form video.
Sure.
Now, one is not more important than the other one, but the tone is completely different. The way that I talk to a client that I have known for 10 years and that, I've done 3 loans with is very different than the way that I talk to somebody that just found me on my website. And now you can give more context to this ChatGPT, and it gives you a very, very good tone. Like, it gives you a more appropriate answer, if you will, where it's not just this normal thing. It's a lot of times it's like, holy shit, that's how I would do it. That's how I would write it.
Yeah, and the thought just crossed my mind, which should be interesting. Let's say somebody's listening to this and maybe they are a weak negotiator, and that's something that they want to, that they wish wasn't the case, right? They wish they were a stronger negotiator. They could actually use Chat GPT to help offset any weaknesses they may have in their business.
Yeah. So again, just, I was talking to a realtor and she was asking me like, well, how would you use that like right now? And I'm like, look, what everybody's doing is using it for listing descriptions. Listing descriptions are not necessarily, they don't come very easy for everybody. Some people do a great job, but a listing description for a property that will attract a certain buyer needs to be different than a listing description for a property that's going to attract a different buyer, and the price points and things like that. So as long as you give the ChatGPT a good idea of what the property is, and sometimes it's scary because we did the exercise where we just put the address and it pulled the amount of bedrooms, square footage, and all that stuff.
Too, yeah.
But if you actually give it that and then you say, look, this is a luxury listing, or you go, this is a great listing for an entry-level family, and things like that, the tone of the message is completely different, and it's mind-blowing how much like a person it is, and not so how much like a person, like it writes way better than I do.
Yeah, and you could double down, right? So write a description for blah, blah, blah. Then when you're done with that, write based on that description, write a script for a 90-second video, and then based on that, write a social media post promoting that, and then write an email blast about that property to send out to a database of past clients. Write another email about that to blast out to other agents. Like you could sit there and in seconds, you could put together 4, 5, 6 pieces of collateral for each listing.
This is where this is gonna be huge. Once you can, without the need of somebody that knows how to code, once you can integrate this in a seamless way with an add-on, with a Google Chrome extension, with something like that, to your messaging, and you let ChatGPT, not you copying and pasting and asking them to answer, but you go, okay, there's a rule that if something comes with this verbiage, your persona is somebody that is an expert on this, and this, a very professional writer, and you're gonna read the emails and answer to those emails. That's a game changer.
It's a game changer.
Because it will start to answer emails for you, and that's way, well, I don't know if way down there, but at least it's not there yet. But what you can do right now, and I've done it, is you have it type something, you send it in an email, then that person sends you an email back. You just copy and paste the email in that same conversation because it learns from the conversation.
Right, the same conversation in
ChatGPT, and you go, this was their answer to that. And it comes up with an answer learning the initial conversation, and you can have conversations saved. I started doing it with my Instagram and my Instagram posts. So with all my reels, I gave ChatGPT the accolades of being an influencer and having more than 10 million followers and a guru in real estate and all these things. And I go, now write an Instagram description for a video, for a reel that's on this. And it does a great job with the hashtags and everything, by the way.
It's absolutely wild. And you're right. Once there's, and I would surmise, I have no idea, but my guess would be that we're not too far away for there being a suite of add-ons.
Yeah.
Because if I'm a coder, I'm 12 hours a day working on this. Because once it's integrated into, like I do, I'm a bit of an Excel geek, right? And you know all my fancy spreadsheets and formulas and stuff like that. When you have a ChatGPT add-on to Excel, and you could just type in a quick query, and it builds out the Excel spreadsheet, puts in the formula, color codes as you see fit, blah, blah, blah. And that is in all the Office products, that's in your email, that's in everything. It's in your CRMs. Dude, that's a game changer.
Yeah, a couple things on that. So I'm not an Excel geek, and the cool thing with that is I have been asking ChatGPT to help me give me the formulas on things that I want to do. But you mentioned Excel AI, and in kind of like looking at all of this, Excel has an actual bot that you can, access, and I would tell you to Google it, where you can just ask within Excel. Like, this is their own version of an Excel ChatGPT that seems to work really well. I haven't used it personally, but in the research that I've been doing with AI and things like that, I've seen it a lot, and that'll be worth checking it out and maybe doing an episode on it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So look, and I want to like really put a spotlight on what you said. Our world's now, you go to Google, you query something. Then you go to Google and you query the next thing. Each query stands on its own.
On its own.
On ChatGPT, the queries are building on each other and it's learning. So it's a very like I've had it write something for me, and then I like respond and go, that's a little bit too vague. Be more specific and focus on blank. And you could just like, so if you're not thrilled with whatever it gives you, you could just keep manipulating it. It's wild.
Yeah.
So I got a question though. Let's now we're guessing, right? Let's put on our dream hat. If you were to guess, where does this go? Whatever, a year from now, 2 years, like let's say relatively short term, less than 3 years.
The way I see these going personally is one of these big Amazon or honestly just Amazon or Apple either building a better version or buying it, because where I think this ends is with a version of ChatGPT just listening to you constantly, like an Amazon Alexa. Like, think about how much better my Amazon Alexa would be, or my Hey Google would be, if it was like ChatGPT, where it can constantly hear me. So, and I know privacy,
super creepy,
privacy, all that. But think about it for the purposes of, if I tell,
we're being listened to all the time anyway, right?
Yeah, if we accept that already and we take it as it is, and if I can tell Alexa, hey Alexa, write an email to Scott about the meeting that we had yesterday, and tell that I didn't think I was nice or I wasn't paying attention, or I wasn't paying attention to how I was communicating, but I actually like his idea. I don't have to give it a lot of context because it's been listening to me the whole time. It knows who Scott is. It knows what we talked about yesterday. It knows what words I said, what an answer. Like, that's where I see this going, where it's so integrated in our lives that it knows who you are, who I am, how I speak to people, and it will take my verbiage and my form when I want it to.
And your personality, your sense of humor, all of it.
Exactly.
It's a very, this again. I mean, I can't overstate it, but I mean, this has the ability to completely wipe out industries or significantly disrupt them. If I was a copywriter right now, this would not make me happy.
Yeah.
I would think the advertising agencies are paying a lot of attention. And the other thing that's interesting is I know Google now, because Google's had an AI thing in development for a while. Google now is racing to catch up with ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is delivered by a company called OpenAI, and Elon Musk, who's not associated with now, but had a role in OpenAI at the beginning of its journey. But now, once competition starts kicking in, to see that race and where this thing goes is wild. But chatbots. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I hate them and they suck. And chatbots, we're going to be communicating with chatbots all the time and not being able to actually tell if it's a chatbot or a human being.
Yeah. Couple of things that it's worth mentioning. One, in my communication with my coder friends, what they're most excited about is that it can help them code, which is interesting. Not that they can code things to it, but that it can help them figure out how to finish formulas and code. So that, I don't even know what the repercussions or what that opens, but that's what the experts are the most excited about, which I thought was pretty cool. And then the other thing is, one thing to be mindful is it does has its limitations. So while it scours the internet for information, as far as I've understood so far, it is a little behind where current events.
It says it on there that it's only good through a particular year.
Exactly. So they're working about a couple years behind. So there's when it comes to actual news, what happened recently, it's just not the best tool. So that's just something to keep in mind because, I don't want the first interaction that you have with Chat GPT is asking, what was the last hurricane that happened in Florida, and it tells you Irma.
Right.
And then you're going to go like, okay, this is terrible. You know?
But we're focusing a lot on Chat GPT, but what has happened is AI has exploded. So we have an event coming up, all right, called Rated R for Realtors. It's a live event here in Southwest Florida where it's gonna be to the best of my knowledge, certainly the area's first AI-driven real estate training event. And in preparation for that, I just Googled and found an AI-based company. I don't remember what it was called, and I said draw out a comic strip.
Yeah.
For centered around a real estate agent who's brand new to the business, who thinks that they're an expert because they've watched a lot of HGTV and is trying to get a listing. And it created the actual artwork. Then I went to ChatGPT and I said, write out a script for that. And then I merged the two together. And dude, I got to tell you, it was funny.
Well, you went to another thing and created a video on it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I spent, again, it just fumbling around. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but fumbling around with that thing in 25 minutes. Came up with an entire comic strip that was, again, really funny, really well done. There's AI artwork websites now that are popping up all over the place because there is a place for coders to get into like the back end of ChatGPT and start making add-ons and incorporating it, which is happening all over. So I would expect the number of AI-powered entities and websites to be growing exponentially over time.
Yeah, it's exciting. We're gonna do a lot of research on this, and this is episode 1 of ChatGPT, and
episode 1 of many.
Of many, yeah. I think we need to document this journey, see where it's failing us, see where it's helping us, and share it with you guys. One thing that's super interesting: if you are in any industry really, and you are having any type of success, any type of failure with ChatGPT, please share it with us.
Yeah.
Because this is so new. I'm so interested to see how other people are using it.
Yeah, and just email us at success@realestateoftomorrow.com. And if somebody out there is really killing it with this, we'd love to maybe bring them on as a guest and have them for a guest episode.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. All right, that's all we got.
All right, man, that is fantastic. Everybody, thank you for listening. Please be sure to share, like, 5-star reviews, all that good stuff. I'm Scott DiGregorio, your co-host. This is the best real estate podcast out there. Make sure you tell all your friends, and I'll see you in 2 weeks at the next episode.
See you guys.
Well, thank you guys for listening. And now it's your turn to implement everything you learned today.
Look, you have a question, you have a topic for a future episode?
Share with us.
Yeah, tell us what you're doing. What are you doing today so you could be successful tomorrow? Send us an email at success@realestateoftomorrow.com.
And don't forget to leave us a review, an honest review.
Screw an honest review. Leave us a 5-star review. And for every 5-star review we get, we're going to send you a badass Real Estate Meme t-shirt.
Those shirts are hilarious.
See ya.